me tell you what this is all about. We are not over here to tell you about medicine. We are not over here to tell you about supplements. We are not over here to tell you about health. But we are here to tell you about food. By eating the proper food, you'd be amazed that your health will change. But before we talk about food, we need to know what is health. Health is not just about not being sick. It's important to know that. So let's just try to define what health is, because once you know what health is, then you can then measure yourself as you go along in this journey of changing your food habits. So let's talk about health. What is health? And the most important thing over here is this very important, strong statement. It is far easier to be healthy than it is to become ill. Because when you are healthy, you wake up well, you go on through life, you don't spend a single penny and you don't waste energy. But when you are ill, you won't understand the consequences. So, it is far easier to be healthy than it is to become ill. It makes sense. Let's define the word health. The word health is derived from the old High German root word for whole, which implies that all parts are present, properly arranged, and properly functioning in harmonious balance. That means every part of the total is balanced and functioning harmoniously. Another one comes from the Anglo-Saxon word hale, which also means whole. Another one is holy, which may be related to the word health in its original meaning. These are just trying to interpret. People are trying to come up with what is the meaning of health. When you look at the World Organization, the definition of health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. The state of health is a statement from the United Nations. The state of health is a natural birthright of every human being. It is not an unattainable ideal, but a practical possibility. And this is really what we want to show you today. I want you to start changing your food habits so that once you change your food habits, health becomes a practical possibility. There is not a single person in this world could say, well, it's a natural thing sometimes in life that I will be sick. That's not a true statement. We can indeed realize it, but it all depends on our attitude of how we live. And the first thing you want to change is food. Because you eat it every day, you need it. You have to change how you eat. And you'd be amazed once you change how you eat. Here is what we want you to do today. We want you at the end of this seminar that you walk out of here and you have one statement only you want to tell yourself. I own my health. And I will change my health by changing how I eat. When you have this question, how did you get this cut? You got a cut and you ask, someone asks you, how did you get this cut? You can say, the door hit me. So, you walk and the door hit you. That's how I got the cut. Another person asks you, how did you get this cut? I walked into the door and I cut myself. One is ownership and one is living circumstances that control how you got the cut. Which one is the correct thing that should happen in life? Number 2. Mario? Both of them? Well, if you didn't walk into the door, you wouldn't get the cut, right? So you now control yourself so that you don't walk into the door. The other one, I walked into the door. Confusing? Dunya? Second one, definitely. I walked into the door and cut myself. Because the first one, you're not controlling it. You were walking and then all of a sudden the door hit you. That's what we are doing about food. We are not controlling what we eat. We just sit down, they serve you the food, and you just eat. We want you to change after today. When you walk out, we want you to go and eat, and every time you open the menu, every time you sit in the house, and every time you go to a restaurant, we want you to say to yourself, is the food that's going to go into my mouth will add value to my health or not? And that's what we want to show you today, what good food is all about. Control and not let circumstances control you. We should take full responsibility of ourselves and our health. We should take, not the circumstances affecting us. Everything that happens in our health is because how we live our life. If we must get sick, we must not blame anybody but ourselves. Don't come one day, you are sneezing, you have a cold, and I say, hey, how did you get a cold? Well, it's the cold weather. How did you get a cold? Well, I was in this elevator and everybody sneezed at me. Familiar sounds? We must not blame anybody but ourselves. Because if you eat good food, which you are going to understand today, if you eat good food, your immune system will be so strong, you can go to an elevator with 100 people sneezing and sniffing and blowing at you all the diseases and every virus. They will never be able to get you sick because God, miraculously, God gave us the most beautiful body that has the strongest immune system, that if you feed your body properly by eating proper food, your immune system will be so strong, you will never get sick. It's simple like that. Don't blame the circumstances or the guys in the elevator. It is, ask yourself and blame yourself because you, first of all, never controlled what you ate. And second, you did not choose the right food to give your body the strength and have that strong immunity so you will never be sick. We must have ownership of our health. Illness is not a matter of chance, morality, or divine punishment, but merely as a reflection of one's ignorance of the natural order. We are not victims of cruel fate. Don't say, oh, I've been attacked, I've been around viruses, bacteria, fungus, then all excuses why you get sick. But our illness should not make us fearful, confused, and impotent. We are solely responsible for ourselves and our health. Okay. What's true health? True health is a positive and multidimensional condition which includes physical, we don't talk about that today. Emotional, we won't talk about that today. Spiritual, but you know, health is a complete package. But we're not here today to talk about health. I just wanted you to understand what really health is all about. We're taking one part of the total, which is the most important thing, food. That's what we want to talk about. But this will tell you the package of how true health is. So it's physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual. And true health, this is very, very important because you measure yourself. You need to measure yourself when you wake up in the morning and say, am I healthy? Everybody says, yeah, I'm healthy. Read this statement. True health. Consistent and high physical energy. That means from the moment you wake up, you've got so much energy, you don't know what to do with it. And you'll go on and feeling that energy all the time until you fall asleep. Consistent high physical energy. You're never tired. Ever. That's health. The ability to fall asleep easily and to awake a few hours later totally refreshed. Always sleeping well. Means the moment you put your head on your pillow, before 10, you're sound asleep until you wake up. A hearty appetite for simple, nourishing food and for sex. Let's not talk about the last one there. We're talking about food here. Always good appetite. Always good appetite, like a teenager. Always hungry. A positive and happy frame of mind, even in the midst of difficulties. A healthy person is always calm. Nervous. Something is wrong inside. Always. Watch your persons. Watch the people. Healthy man is always calm. Never angry. A good memory. Never forgetful. You think when you get old, you say, it's the age factor. It's not. Clarity and speed in thought and action. Always joyous and alert. Healthy people are always happy. And they're always alert. They always focus. A profound gratitude for the gift of life. Always. Always think, thank God. Because when you are healthy, you always say, Alhamdulillah. I thank God. Let's talk about sickness. Now that we know what health is, what is sickness? Okay. Physical. Sickness is pain, biochemical and biomechanical dysfunction, low and inconsistent energy, poor appetite for food and sex, and poor sleep. Everything opposite of what we talked about. Aesthetic. Inability to perceive and experience the beauty which characterize the natural world and much of the human-made world. To appreciate what is around you. Emotional. It is a predominance, both in duration and intensity, of unpleasant and painful emotions. In emotional illness, negative effects such as fear, anxiety, sadness, anger, jealousy, and remorse are most intense and long-lasting than positive effects. Social or moral, the rule of self-interest rather than kindness and compassion in relations with other human beings, with animals and plants. So sickness is not only physical. We have physical, aesthetics, emotional, social and moral. Intellectual, lack of curiosity about the world and undevelopment of the mental abilities, observation, memory, reasoning, comprehensive and imagination. It is the dominance of negative and destructive mental attitudes over positive ones. Ideological. Sickness is an indifference to the basic questions concerning the universe and human life and a resulting lack of carefully considered and systematic view of the world. Spiritual. It is the alienation and despair which results from living in a universe perceived and experienced as devoid of meaning. In life, in actual life, there is no sickness, only sick people. Only the person is healed and not the sickness. These are very, very strong statements. When you read each one of them and you think about it, you're going to see how true this is. To be healed means that one can take care of his health. It does not mean he never becomes sick. We become sick because we do not maintain balance in our bodies and between our bodies and the environment. Sickness is usually the result of many unnecessary efforts. Here's an example about sickness. Making brown rice available requires less time and effort. So much better and easier to cook brown rice than white rice. White rice requires extra capital, machinery, labor, and time. Because brown rice, you grow rice, you take the rice as it is grown, and you cook it. Less energy, and so much better for you. White rice, you take it out, you send it to the plant, you clean it, you take the shell out, and so much money wasted. For what? To give you something to eat that has very little nutritional health. Loss of nutrition. White rice lacks many of the original essential nutrients. We waste energy and spend extra capital to create white rice that is the worse off from a health point of view than the original. Why do we do that? It's the same thing with wheat, with bread, white bread. Why don't we just take the wheat, crush it, grind it, and cook bread? Why, we human beings, why do we do this? We go all out of the way. We waste energy. We take everything out so that it look white. And then we feed ourselves and we get nothing. I don't understand. Where are we? Money wasted. We create artificial vitamins to compensate for loss of nutrients in refined products. We have natural food to eat that has all the vitamins. We clean it, we clear it, and so on. Then we eat bad stuff. We don't feel good. We buy vitamins. Doesn't make sense at all, does it? That's what I want you to understand when you leave this room today, after seeing and spending the time. I want you to walk out of here. And I want you to have ownership of your health. And I want you to realize what you should eat and not what is given to you to eat. Now let's talk about the doctors. We said about here that if you eat right, you will never be sick. So we don't need any doctors. The doctors are created because there was a need in life about people that got sick. So how did we all start? Let's look many, many years ago. In the year 00000001, someone got sick in the old days. The doctors went to see what plants, what roots, and so on. So they take the roots, whatever plant, they say, try this, try this. It was experimental. And then as the years went by, in the year 1000 AD, religion came. So every time a guy gets sick, they give him all the roots and the food, but the most important thing, they said religion. If you believe in religion, you will become healthy. And then, as the years went by, in 1850, they started experimenting with chemistry. All of a sudden, the world started to learn about chemistry. You mix this with this, you get something like that. And they started doing the portions, and they said, try this, and see what happens. And then, in 1940, they started to have tablets and pills. Good morning. And modern medicine started to be established. And then, 1985, the antibiotic. Ever wonder how many times you go to the doctor? Sometimes I get sick. Before I go to the doctor, I say, let me see. If I go to the doctor, this is what the doctor is going to give me. 3 things always. Painkiller, anti-inflammation, and antibiotic. Antibiotic, anti-inflammation, and painkiller. Antibiotic became the standard practice. From 1985 onwards, they got so many types of antibiotic to the point where people were taking so much antibiotics that they are now quite concerned that the body does not have the resistance anymore for anything because they've run out of antibiotics. And then, 2000, when they realized they couldn't find any other antibiotic to fight the viruses and the bacteria, they went back to the real original of what it all started about, going back to nature, looking at roots and food. That's the key. Going back to nature now, people, you see, organic food, natural this, natural that. All of a sudden, everybody's going back to say, oh, why do we put chemicals? Why are we doing this? Back to the real start of life, that God gave us this beautiful world with beautiful plants, with beautiful trees, with beautiful fruits, with beautiful vegetables. Why did we all change that? Why do we think we are so smart and smarter than God? Let's go back. Educate ourselves about food. Because once you know what good food is, and once you know and try it, and you see the evaluation of your health and the change, you're going to realize how stupid we human beings are about how we do and how we conduct our lives. While you were coming in today, we had some stations at the back there. We had a station that showed you some of the super vegetables and super fruits. There are many, many others, but those really are the real good ones. We have a station about some books, which I highly recommend that you read if you're interested, again, about ownership of your health. You start reading a little bit and understand a little bit better about what and how you should keep your body in fine tune. And then we have another station over there about sprouts. And sprouts is one of the key, most important health food. And it's so easy to grow. And someone was asking me, where do you get it from? I said, oh, a little balcony at home. Mr. Savio that lives with me understands that you buy some seeds, you put some water in it, and it sprouts, and you eat it. And it's a wheatgrass station. How did you do that? Oh, in my balcony. I get some wheat, I put some water, the grass grows. It's grass. Wheat is grass. And I juice it and I drink it. So simple. Eating natural food is so simple. Have balconies. Most of us live in apartments. I live in an apartment. All that stuff is from my balcony. Every morning, just eat a little bit. Amazing what it does to you. And now, we are going to show you a movie about bad food. You're going to spend 1.5 hours about what bad food could do to you. I'm not going to make any comment because the movie is strong enough and has strong enough impact to show you what junk food could do to you. So enjoy this 1.5 hours until we meet again. Can we get started? Oh, I forgot this one. See, I forget. Because I want to demonstrate to you. I'm just going to read this. And I am sure, including myself, somewhere in our lives, we have encountered something like this in our daily life. Migraine, high cholesterol, breast cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, prostate cancer, venous stasis disease, depression, obstructive sleep, asthma, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, acidity, stress, impotence, orthopedic problems, or degenerative joint diseases. What they call the modern chronic diseases. Every one of this is the effect of our modern life and how we live and how we eat. If you eat right and you follow the right food, every one of these chronic diseases will disappear. I guarantee you that because I have gone through on a personal life that I have realized everything that is on this statement is true and correct. This is what modern medicine thrives on. This is the modern industry, billion-dollar business, because this is the common diseases we all have, and this is what doctor makes money from. And every one of this will disappear if you eat the correct food. That's all, simple, right food. So let's look at the junk food. Let's look at the bad food for 1.5 hours now. We're going to enjoy watching what bad food will do to you.